Hey, call me Shape. Always wanted to do that. And I'm reacting to another Antoine Daniels video. Before I get into the video, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel. Channel's blowing up. We're going straight like this. Help us get to 10,000 subs. All right, this video is titled Sucker Step Parents, and it's really talking about should men date single moms. You guys know my answer to that, so let's get right into the video.
I haven't gotten to that point yet, but I have gotten to the point where, actually, yeah, I have gotten to that point. Dominic, my 14-year-old, he's a very non-confrontational person.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all know when I'm speaking, like we can go there a little bit. Like, all right, so let's talk. You feel me?
Yeah.
And he was texting his mom some stuff, but kind of trying to play both sides.
Yeah.
And I had to let her know, like, he's trying to play in your face right now.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy that I had to give him was revved up East Warren Randy. I had to give him that a little bit. And I had to realize that he can't handle that.
Mm-hmm.
I am a hood girl raising suburban babies.
Mm-hmm.
They can't handle the aggressive talk and things like that. And I had to, it really took, honestly, it took me realizing that Dominic is a young man.
Mm-hmm.
He's 14 years old. How I handle him now is how he's going to expect women to handle him in the future.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm.
So if I talk to him aggressive, if I'm, in his face like this or whatever, he's going to expect, or he's going to normalize that or think that that's how women are supposed to handle him, especially if he's seeing that in both households. Right. So I've had to take a step back and ask myself, how do I want to show up for him? What type of parent do I want to be?
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of it is, I had to learn that he has to fall sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I cannot be the parent that's just constantly just being a safety net. And that to me is the scariest shit in the world because it's like, why do you have to scrape up your knee if I can just, leave the training wheels?
Oh, I'm the opposite. I'll push the nigga right off. This is like, because I want you. And that just comes from my military background though, because it's like, you need to know I'm not going to, I can't coddle you through. I can be there for you and I can be your backbone, but I'm not going to coddle you because no one's going to love you like I do. Yeah. When you step outside this house, you about to see just how much they don't love you out here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But you treat your daughters differently than your sons though, right?
I don't have a daughter. I mean, I have a bonus daughter, but
no.
I did at one time. I can honestly say I did. At one time, I definitely did. I was a lot harder on my girls than my boy. And man, I did coddle him. And my husband,
you coddled the boy?
Yeah, I did. And when my husband came in, because, not to discredit my son's dad, but, I wish he was a lot more active than what he was. But when my husband came in, he was like, no, he said, this is not going to work for this little boy. And I couldn't fight that because it's like, I ain't never lived in the shoes of a man.
Yeah.
And he's going to have to. So there's certain things that bonus dad are going to have to deal with.
Absolutely.
And
I like how they call them step parents bonus dads. It really is a bonus if you're lucky to get a stepfather to jump in. But here's where a lot of women create the worst men. They coddle these young men, and these young men, expect the world from women, and they don't deliver on their own. Okay, this is how women create the men they don't want. So I said before in a previous video, women reward bad behavior even though they want less of it. This is that example of it. You're rewarding men for being taken care of by women and not taking care of himself.
I let it happen. And I just had to realize I was being a lot unfair. Like I was putting a lot of responsibilities on my girls for certain things. And it's like, why are you not putting these same responsibilities on your son?
Yes.
And don't get me wrong, I know it's certain things that girls would probably do better, but it was definitely a difference that I had for sure.
I could never be a stepfather.
Why?
I don't believe in that. Like I think that I call him step baby daddy or step crash dummy. I could never in my right mind.
Step crash dummy?
Step crash dummies.
Why don't you believe in stepfathers?
Because he's always going to yearn to understand who he truly is from the person that he was born from.
No, you're 100%
Yeah, I
accurate.
agree with
And
that.
so I don't see the benefit that a guy gets out of raising another man's child.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah.
It's no benefit.
That's,
it's a zero-sum statement.
wouldn't say there's no
As much as I want to dislike that statement, I will say that
It's a zero benefit.
often to some people.
Unless you just want to feel good about yourself.
Often step parenting can be a rewardless job, but when you accept what your role is in it versus trying to be someone's everything, for me it's been a bit different. And I will go as far as saying too, we have been able to establish our own relationship. I don't want to be your mama. I'm not your mama. I'm a mother figure to you. You have a mama. I don't need you to look at me and say, oh, mom, A, B, C, and D. No. You have a biological mother that you have access to for that. I'm here to be a pillar in your village
but it's
and
different. I can't speak to it from a woman's perspective.
Yeah.
I think it's the same.
And no,
Oh,
let me
no.
let
I
me tell you.
disagree.
I definitely agree and disagree with it. I agree with it for a certain kind of man, a certain kind of traditional alpha man. It is not going to be able to do anything. And I don't say alpha man to try to say beta is different and sigma is bad and all that. I'm not saying that. But what I am saying is that a certain mindset, a certain man that wants to run everything, is going to be difficult having two lions in the family. Because a man like Anton is going to show up as the man. I'm doing this. I'm handling this. This is my village. To have another man that has come in and have any type of say so at all, I can see how that could be.
I
difficult.
definitely believe we
that's
got to
assuming
people
they have-
prioritize
We gotta
nuclear
think about
families.
it. I want women to understand it. Just because a man has a penis don't make him a man. He could be a male. There's not a lot. Most men aren't lying. Let's make sure that's understood.
Okay.
About
Right?
that.
So some men can raise another man's child because the real father ain't a lion. He's more like a gazelle. You know what I'm saying? The lion is now here, and I believe. Well, I believe in God, and I believe in everything is a reason, right?
Right.
And like my dad is a bitch ass nigga. My step pops, he ain't playing. Like,
Yeah.
you feel me? So like, I was already one that wasn't playing coming out the woodworks.
Yeah.
So then, if my dad was there, hypothetically, I would probably clash with him because he was already soft. You know what I'm saying? And I don't believe that just because you gave birth to something means that you are the best one to raise that.
Come on, let's talk
you know,
about
that person that you gave birth to, whether you're a man or a woman.
So you believe nurture versus nature?
Yes.
Because nurturing that child is more important than possibly more important than nature.
I believe that nature.
Absolutely.
See, here's the thing: we get so
crazy.
confused about nature as if you are the only one of this child. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 generations of nature within this child that you ain't exuding yet. You remember the Punnett
That's
Square?
Whoa. Hold on. All right. I'm glad everyone wants to talk about lions and lioness and all stuff like that, but let's just keep it real. Lions kill the cubs of other lions. When you take over a pride and there's other little cubs that the lion had before you fathered, they kill those cubs. So first off, lions don't become stepfathers at all either. Just to start that off. Second off, he said that his dad is a bitch ass nigga. Damn. Well, let me tell you something, my friend. I don't know nothing about you. I don't know you, but you disrespected the fuck out of your father. I don't know what y'all issue is. But chances are, if he raised you, you would have been just like him. Okay, and I understand that you think you would have been pushing back at him because you're a man, you ain't playing because your stepfather wasn't playing. Shout out to your stepdad for picking up the slack. But the reality of it is that it was your dad's responsibility to raise you, whether he was the best person or not. This is why a lot of women shouldn't open up their legs to a man that's not ready to be a father. If your dad wasn't ready to be a father, your mom should have never opened her legs to him. That's just the reality. You know what I'm saying? Maybe your stepfather was ready to be a father, so she should have conceived with him instead of your pops.
Well, you had a 1 in 4 chance of being something.
Yes.
Right? So this child can have the bottom right quadrant and you might have the top left.
Yeah.
You ain't fit to raise that child, to be honest. So maybe somebody else who is in that bottom right quadrant is gonna be able to understand that man or that young woman or that young boy and really help them grow into what they need to be.
So you would advise your son to get with a woman that already have children.
If that
Children
No,
is
you would be
plural.
okay with that?
Children is-
Remove yourself out.
Children
I
is
don't think nobody advises those scenarios for their
But see, the
children,
problem
right?
Yes.
is that
But
we
sometimes
start
it just
saying men
happens
ain't
because
men.
they just might be in love. You can't control
You
who
can,
love.
because marriage is a business first. It's a business
Do
first.
some.
We know statistics of what it is when men are where children are raised in certain type of household. We know what the statistics are, right? And so I'm not gonna sit here and say a man isn't a man based off of some criteria that we make up, right? Because I use data. The reality is this: what we are doing is excusing bad behavior. And instead of us going to the mothers and say, hey, why you not accountable for who it is that you decided to open up your legs to?
bullshit.
Because we ain't having that conversation. The only thing we saying is, oh, that's a bitch ass nigga. But you opened up your legs to him. He wasn't a bitch ass nigga when you had sex
He
with him.
might have been.
When you know. But my point is
I mean, if we're
when
gonna
we
talk about it.
continue to do this, we validate bad behavior.
What
You
is the
can
bad behavior?
Because you're saying that you can recover from this. When in reality, we know statistically that child has a much greater chance of going to jail, a much greater chance of needing therapy, a much greater chance of joining a gang. He has a much greater chance of being less successful. And instead of us saying, hey, hold that accountable so that this don't happen to the next generation.
I think I'm missing context.
No.
If what?
If
He
that's,
has a much greater chance of doing all that. If what?
To say it's a guy's responsibility to raise this child based off of a village concept or a community concept, or because he's a real man, removes the accountability from the woman of actually making sure that she picked the right guy and to marry before she carry in the first place.
So what?
And that's exactly the problem. Shout out to Anton Daniels, my bad if I got your name wrong, my brother. This is why I fuck with your content. I'm going to just keep it real with you because I like how he fathers, right? He's married to the mother of his children and they're still together and he's still raising his child. You know, all due respect to the brother. This brother over here said, the one with the dread said, oh, you don't know who you fall in love with? That is a feminine mindset, bro. This whole, you can't help who you love, all that BS, that feminist shit, you know, I'm sorry, I don't know you, brother, but that's some bitch ass shit. Just as far as like the mentality go. I'm not saying you a bitch ass nigga, but that mentality, that's from a woman. So maybe you grew up with your mom, I understand it. I didn't grow up with my mom, so I don't have a lot of these tendencies that you guys are normal to you guys. In my mind, like Antoine Daniel said, you know, family is business. Choose who you love. Choose who you love. Don't fall for a girl that got a fat ass and a pretty face. You know what I'm saying? Because it might look good on the outside, but it could be rotten on the inside. You know, a lot of these girls got brain rot. Trust me, you don't want to make that mistake. Okay? These girls are recreational use only. For real. So control who you, as men, choose better. Because, you know, we can't rely on women to choose better. You know, so shout out to women that actually choose good. But a lot of women won't. But as a man, you gotta choose better or you're gonna deal with the consequence. I was watching a video on what they call this dude he climbs buildings 400 meters high, you know what I'm saying? And one time he fell from climbing the buildings 50 meters high. And guess what the consequence was? He broke his hands and he was in a coma. Life has consequences. You make a mistake, it could cost you your life. Just like sleeping with the wrong person and having a kid with them, that's a problem for 18 plus years. In fact, that's a legacy problem. So now you merge your legacies together and he was a sucker from the beginning, but you didn't choose properly. Make better choices.
Married before I carried, and then I got a divorce.
But that's not the norm because what I see on Instagram and social media is people
I'm trying to figure out what we talking about.
What I see on Instagram and social media is when a woman get pregnant, regardless of whether she married, it's congratulations, sis.
Facts.
Okay.
That's what I see.
I agree. Listen,
should we throw stones at her?
Absolutely.
Antoine, shut up. You do not think that.
So you said that congratulating a woman, but if you want to throw accountability at anybody, throw it at the man that left the family.
It's a small minority.
Right?
It's a small percentage of men that's having the majority of the children. Most black men are not having children out of wedlock. That is a falsehood. And so when we sit here, when we want to solve for a problem, we solve for the majority, not the minority. And when you look at the statistics, most black men are not having children out of wedlock. It's a small minority of men that's having the majority of the children with a whole lot of women.
Is that you got that from a .org or a dot?
How do a woman have a child without a wedlock without the man too?
What I'm saying is, if we got 99% of the men, and we said we're gonna hold all of them accountable.
No, I'm saying like if the woman had the child at wedlock, she ain't have it by herself. So did he.
If we got 99% of men to do the right thing, it takes 1% of men to populate the majority.
I didn't want to stop it so soon, but brother, stop caping for women, bro. Women control the access to sex. If a woman does not want to reproduce with a bum ass nigga, she has 100% of the control of that. 100%. In fact, and if she does get pregnant, she can abort the child. She has 100% control of that. So this idea that a man should not leave the family, if all women decided now that they're not going to sleep with a man, like lose their virginity until they're married, and they're not going to give birth to a child until they're married, I'm telling you, our marriage rates will go through the roof because women have literally complete control of that. Men, we have control of access to relationships. We decide who becomes wives, but women decides who becomes fathers. And we have to keep it that way and not pretend like some man just tricked a woman. You can't trick a woman. go through the steps of getting married first. As in, he meets your father, he proposes with a ring of significant carriage, right? And there's a whole process that's coming together between the two families to make it happen. So it's not some random guy. Now, if that fails, just know that you guys took all the steps and precautions first, and you did the right thing, and it still might not work out. But let's have that not work out instead of avoiding that altogether.
Women.
True indeed.
So even if you hold all men accountable, it doesn't solve for the problem.
No, it's not about all men. It's about holding everybody accountable.
We do, but men by default are automatically held accountable.
Let me go back to this stepdad situation real fast, because I have a stepfather, right? But he didn't raise me. My grandfather raised me, right? So I didn't personalize my stepfather because that's who my mom is married to.
Yeah, that's who your mom chose.
That's her relationship. I have examples. Around me that I don't have to look towards him. His only job, honestly, for me, is just to be example of a good person, a human being, period. I don't need him to be my father. I don't need him for none of that shit, right? It's just simply just be a good dude, treat my mom good. And I mean, I don't care what y'all going through. Y'all not being physical, that's fine.
How old were you when he came into your life?
I was in middle school, so that's what, like,
You was
12.
already big.
Well, I was big because I
You
was
didn't
probably,
need- you-
I'm 6'5", bro. I've been big.
No, I'm saying you were older as a kid. You
No,
had already
Middle
had whatever
schooler?
it was in you.
No, what I'm saying is,
Now wait,
Fucking
now,
middle
I know. Listen, now I know.
happening here?
Okay,
Well, I mean,
so
he's 11 years old. He's middle
all right,
school.
cool. All right, let's reset. All right. So one of the facts that you gave is in regards to children that, you know, statistically messing up more so, that usually comes from a single mother household, correct?
Facts.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So if we take the conversation to it being a two-parent.
single mother household. So when I say two-parent household, I'm saying married, having children, raising those children.
Cool. So let's take it to a two-parent household where one parent is a step-parent. That's still a two-parent household, right?
Yeah, but it's not the same.
You don't think so?
And I personally, again, I would never advise a guy, if this guy is single, he's taking care of business, he don't have no children and nothing like that, I'm not gonna sit here in good conscience and tell this man that he's supposed to get with a single mother. Absolutely not.
And that's
100%.
Cool. But there's so many single fathers that get with single mothers. So many single fathers.
So we just
I think
speaking
y'all should
about
have preferences.
are we just speaking about the men who don't have children? Is that the reference? Or are you saying just all men,
Because I
even if they
understand the
come
men
in
that
with
doesn't have
children?
children, but there's so many single fathers that look towards.
I mean,
Like
yeah,
I said, the majority
we
of
also
men
have to be
don't have
realistic
children out of
here.
wedlock.
Okay, where are you living, right? We're living in America, and 1 out of every 4 kids are born with a single parent.
Yeah.
Or raised with a single parent, right? And the rest of the world, it's at an 8%. So we're about 3 to 4 times more likely to have a child be raised out of wedlock or with only one parent, right? So when you look at the numerics, you're more likely than not to run, if you're a guy who doesn't have any kids, you're more likely than not, depending on your age, to run into a woman that has a kid, right? So I don't think we're advising anybody, hey, I advise you to go find a woman that has a kid with another man. Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that the offer's not on the table depending on her behavior. Now, if she has 3, 4, 5 baby fathers, I would never advise that, right? Sorry to those women. But if you have one man and, I mean, you had one man and now you have one child with that man and maybe even 2, and that's something that you want to tie up your boots and walk in the path you want to walk
That's
down,
crazy.
I would say go ahead.
But that's why I brought up single fathers,
That's
because when you see a
crazy.
woman that is a single mother,
Yeah.
that child has a father,
Yeah.
right? Who's a single father?
That's insane.
Like, are we not putting those two to the?
Listen, I get this. Everybody here, they're taking their world and they're making it and they're pasting it across the spectrum of this is how everyone world is. No, that's your world. Okay, that's your anecdotal experience. I'm a handsome dude. I'll never make it seem like every dude is handsome. So I would paint my experience across everybody. Like, I'm on Hinge and I got 400 plus matches within a year. I know most dudes that don't get 400 plus matches in 10 years, right? One dude said he got 2 matches a month. So you got to understand that your anecdotal experience is not everybody's experience. If I could do it, you could do it too. We're adults, right? But back to what that dude saying that he don't advise people to date single moms, but single moms are everywhere. Let's go back to Hinge. There is a lot of single black people, women and men, that don't have children. 54% of men, black men, are single and childless. Think 30% of black women are single and childless. right? But the reality of it is you can find a black woman without kids that's never been married before, and that is your best option for starting a family. You know, choosing a mom that has kids already, hey man, you could do that all you want, but understand it's a much bigger responsibility. A lot of men can't take on that responsibility. It's easier for a man that has a lot of money and resources, but those men tend to want exactly what they want, so they don't go for them easier. So if you're an average dude, which most dudes are average, you trying to be a stepfather in nowadays climate with women being feminists and they expect you to pay for everything, pay all the bills, and they don't even cook, they don't even clean, they're not even friendly. I don't advise it. They're ghetto like that one girl and she barking at you. I don't advise it. Start your own family. Okay? Because what ends up happening is the woman's going to put her kids before you. And in my personal opinion, I'm okay with a woman putting my kids before me. If you put my son before me, absolutely fine. You know what I'm saying? If you put all your attention towards him and you're ignoring me, absolutely fine. We might have some issues, but I'm going to still respect that he's your priority. But I can't respect that a child that's not mine is your priority, but I got to make you my priority. Ain't cutting it. I'm just sorry. Women want what they want. Men, we want what we want. Okay? You guys don't want to date no broke dudes. A woman that has children, for the most part, it's like dating a broke dude. That's like the equivalent. You know, but maybe even worse, because a dude could always become better off, even though the chances are he's not going to, but a woman would always have that responsibility. It's really hard out here. There's some great single moms. Let me not confuse it. But if you're a productive man, it's not hard to find a woman without kids. Single parents, y'all probably should date each other. Single father, date a single mother. Y'all gonna understand each other best, like what they're saying on that panel. But if you're a single dude, it's okay to want a woman to start your own family with. That's absolutely okay. We got to stop shaming men for that. Anyway, that's my video. I appreciate you guys. I hope you like this video. What do you guys think about it? Check out some of my other videos, and I'll talk to you soon.